She's a second-generation vet, a dog wrangler, and a cowgirl. Galloping from a 2,000-pound emergency
Oh, honestly.
to a kitten's first checkup.
He says he wants to stay.
Meet Dr. Carey, a prairie vet on wheels.
I literally have my phone with me 24 hours a day, every single day of my life.
It's the last few weeks of summer, and the hot, dry conditions persist in the Interlake. Dr. Carey and Laura are wrapping things up for the day to get home to their families. For Carey, it's not just the menagerie of cats, dogs, and horses waiting for her return. Her parents and sister's family are visiting for a couple of weeks.
I really enjoy having my family out. I don't get to see them very much. Everybody's far away. So when they do come out, it's nice to be able to spend as much time with them as possible. And it's fun to do it at our place because there's kind of no rules. And we just get out and do a bunch of fun stuff, whatever kind of suits our fancy at the time. It's been super, super hot this summer. We still try to get some time with the horses in. So we took them down to the lake and swam around with them and just had some playtime. They seem to get in the spirit of things as well.
I'm Jane Hudson. I'm Carrie's mom. This is my horse, Chance. She is a quarter horse. Carrie bought her hoping that she could become one of her performance horses, but unfortunately for Carrie, that didn't work out, but it was fortunate for me, so I could buy her as a saddle horse. Chance loves playing in the water. She splashes around like mad and loves to roll in the water. My daughter and grandson got on her and rode around, and when they got out deep, Chance thought that was great fun and started cantering around with them in the deep water, having a great time. They all enjoyed that.
I'm Jenny Edwards, Carrie's little sister. My kids like to come down here and turn feral, like we all do. Fewer rules, and the lake lets us do that with the horses. You don't have to be quite as careful with them. When jumping off the horse is encouraged. Matthew has always loved catching frogs and snakes, so that's what he does every year when we come back. Is he finds Hissy every year. Hissy's his favorite snake. And then there's always a competition on who can find the most frogs. And Matthew always wins.
So how does all this water feel for the horses? Touch sensitivity is organized differently in horses than in humans. A horse's sides are more sensitive than the human fingertip, which is why grooming is a pleasurable and bonding experience. And different levels of leg pressure is one of the main ways we communicate with them while riding. Horses have a blind spot which extends about 4 feet from their noses. Where humans would use our hands and fingers to navigate, a horse uses the whiskers around the mouth, nose, and under the chin to explore and interpret their surroundings. If their whiskers are trimmed, they're more likely to sustain injuries to their eyes, ears, and face. And in Germany, the practice has been outlawed.
Brooke has always loved animals. In fact, her first word was neigh rather than mom or dad. When she came and rode at about 18 months, was on one of Carrie's horses, Rio. She loved it so much that she started calling her Aunt Carrie Annie Neigh, because Annie Neigh had horses.
I'm Carrie's niece. I live in London, England, and I do show jumping. I like that there's barely anybody here. It's really different, and you can do sort of whatever you want. I'm allowed to ride every day and go in the lake. This is my horse, Zach. He's an 18-year-old sorrel gelding. He was my aunt's old horse, and now I've got him. I sort of want to be a veterinarian.
Brookie's always loved horses and now has Zach. It's the love of her life. I mean, there's pictures of Zach all over her room and just, yeah, she adores him.
For Carrie's father, these summer reunions are a chance to spend time with his grandson.
What I'm planning to do now is hopefully show a well-trained Labrador Retriever. The well-trained part is kind of humorous. She's well-trained to her standards, not my standards. She will be an embarrassment to a lot of retriever trainers, but she's a good dog, and she and I have a lot of fun chasing ducks together.
For Matthew, this isn't just quality time with his grandfather. He's learning about proper firearm procedure and the importance of gun safety.
Matthew, you need to put on your earplugs. My grandson will be helping me. He will be shooting the launcher for me today while I'm trying to hold the dog back.
This morning we are going to shoot a rifle which shoots a dummy for the dog to chase after it.
We'll be using a converted .22 rifle that shoots blank cartridges. There'll be no bullets involved. It'll just be a blank cartridge. The powder going off will shoot a dummy about 50 meters down range, and then the dog will go down and hopefully find the dummy and bring it back to us. This is .22 ammunition. It's got a primer and it's got powder, but it's got no bullet in it, right? We're going to put the cartridge in the chamber. You cock it, and then you pull the trigger. Okay, you ready? See if you can hit that tree down there. Yeah, you need me to put something on there. Right, okay. We load the charge. Come on, get back here. Good fella. You can be a good dog. Come on.
Carrie's family is visiting, and they're enjoying everything her property has to offer. Her sister Jenny comes almost every summer with her children, Matthew and Brooke, and husband Darren.
Darren doesn't know what he's doing on the jet ski, so he made us really tippy.
Thanks, sweetie. Love you too.
With the entire family together, there are bound to be some issues. But Carrie's sister Jenny has a particularly subtle approach to sibling rivalry.
I'm the one who worked with my mom to plant all of her garden, and Carrie absolutely hates gardening, but she wants it to look nice. I made sure to make the garden really, really big, because I'm a little bit evil. But it looks great, and then Carrie has to water it and weed it and stuff when we're not here. She really doesn't like it.
With her garden chores done for the day, Carrie heads into work to do something she is passionate about, being a vet. And Brooke and Matthew have come to help out around the clinic and to learn.
According to both my kids, Carrie is absolutely amazing. She's like this mystical creature that they talk about when we're in London, that of all these wonderful things that Carrie can do and Carrie lets them do and Carrie teaches them.
You be a good girl. Be a good girl. Okay? All right. Thank you. You're welcome. See you later. See you later.
Susan Shadler brought Lassie last year, and we found some broken teeth that needed to be addressed, and they've been saving up so that Lassie could get her dental procedure today.
Putting money aside for a pet's health care is a practice Dr. Carey believes more pet owners should follow.
We see Lassie every year. She's been a client of ours for a very long time.
I'm just meeting Lassie for the first time today.
Lassie's all
And
right.
Lassie seems like a pretty good dog.
Lassie waits for things to get started and doesn't seem too concerned that Dr. Carey's assistants on her procedure are likely younger than she is.
So this is Lassie, you guys, and Lassie's got some broken teeth, so we're gonna check over all her teeth. So this is a little probe. So I probe around all her teeth. The gum should come and cover up that tooth completely. And if I find a pocket in there, then it might mean that that tooth has to come out. See how her gums bleed pretty easy? And that just means there's tartar on her teeth. So when this one was broken, it's got, see this brown hole in it? right in there. So that's the pulp cavity, so that is sore for her when it's broken like that. How old is Lassie? 14, so she's getting pretty old.
I love animals because each one has something special about them.
Currently, Brooke does think she wants to be a vet. We'll see if that carries on throughout, because lots of kids want to be vets when they're growing up, but it is something she really likes. She loves animals, so at this point she wants to be a vet, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so we're gonna get some x-rays of Lassie now.
So I think my parents thought we both might become vets, but I just can't. I can't handle hurting animals, even if it's for their own good. Brooke can do that, and I'll be surprised if she doesn't end up a vet or working with animals of some sort. Having Carrie end up a vet, nobody was surprised. She's always had that ability to be firm and do what needs to be done.
Is that one under the gum?
No, this is just worn down quite a bit, but the gum is just, you can see the gray here. There's a little ligament that holds the tooth in place. So I have to make that ligament get loose. There we go. Let's see that black in there. That's the pulp cavity, so that's the ouchy part of the tooth that was exposed. So that would have been sore for her.
The tooth was very long and very bloody.
It's quite interesting to see the animals be operated on and help, like, vaccinate them and stuff.
There's that little piece there, and then that all piece, right? And then did we get it out?
Yeah.
Where was it before? We've just finished up Lassie's surgery. She did have 3 teeth that needed to come out. There was a couple teeth that I was worried about. We did x-rays on those and everything looked fine. Everything went well with her. She did really well during the surgery.
When Brooke and Matthew are back in school in the UK, they'll have some great stories to tell when asked what they did on their summer holiday. The team heads back to Carrie's, where there's another memory waiting to be made. It's another scorching hot day, so Carrie and her family meet up with Calvin's in the shade by the lake. For Carrie, a day like this is special because it seems like her phone has taken the rest of the day off too. There are no emergencies to attend to, no appointments scheduled, just a comfortable chair to sit in and enjoy the people she's closest to. Laura's family business. It may be the weekend, but she still has work to do. And when Laura's not with Dr. Carey, she's helping out on the ranch she and her husband Brian own. 2 of Laura's cats, Jinx and Asher, get ready for a jam-packed day of snoozing in the sun. While the 2 dogs, Axel and Nelson, can't wait to get to work.
This morning, it's a beautiful day out. It's still nice and early, so there's still quite a bit of dew and moisture in the ground, so Brian's not going out to the hayfield quite yet. So we're gonna hop on the bikes and we're going to go check out the cows and make sure everybody looks nice and healthy.
On a large property with plenty of tree cover, the cows can be a little difficult to find. The herd is much more independent in the summertime because the prairie grasses provide them with all the sustenance they need. Back at the end of April, it was a completely different story. The fields were bare, and the herd depended on Brian all winter long to serve up their daily dose of hay.
Right, so right now it is April 30th. Looks a little bit more like November 30th. Yesterday it was, I think, plus 24, 25. It's beautiful out, and that is not the case today. So it is snowing, wet, miserable. So we're just out feeding the cows today because the grass isn't going to be growing for sure anytime soon. We calve beginning of March, so I am very, very lucky. Dr. Carey lets me take a couple weeks off for calving season.
It's great to have Laura who knows her stuff. I mean, she's a top shelf in that area, I say.
Life on a cattle ranch is not complicated. It's a simple life that suits Brian just fine.
You get up in the morning, you do your chores, and you have lunch, and you do some more chores, and then you have coffee break. No, it's nice. I mean, I like it just to be out in the open country, the peacefulness of it.
Oh no.
Laura starts a minor stampede when she brings out a bucket of grain.
What?
After a steady diet of hay all winter long, grain is like a slice of pizza after months of boiled potatoes.
This is the problem. This is one of the problems of having pet cows. They can almost be more dangerous than non-pet cows. I like having quiet cows most of the time. This one here wasn't actually raised on a bottle. She's just a really bad grain pig. When I was a kid, we didn't have tags in our cows. They always had names, so I've kind of taken over that tradition, much to Brian's horror.
They're numbers to me. They're not pets. I mean, you have the odd one, I guess, that you raise from with a bottle or something.
Bernie here was raised on a bottle. She lived in our yard. When she wanted her bottle, she'd climb up on the deck and look in the screen door. We compromise though. So my cows do have tags in their ears. I know what their tag numbers are. So if I'm talking to Brian, I'll refer to like, you know, number 12 or number 11. And when I'm talking to my mom, then there's some name dropping going on.
Laura does have a smaller farm, and so they are quite close with their animals, and they do like to name them all. Most producers don't do that. I mean, when you have 600, it would be pretty hard to name all 600 of them and remember what you named them. On the farm, Calvin and his sister do have names for a few of them. The occasional barn baby will get a name, but then they have to eat them later, so it's not always a good idea to name them.
I like her. She's a good cow. She's sweet. She's not going to be sold. She'll live on the farm. She's a pet. She's a part of the family, but just a cow member of it.
Back in the present, the search continues for signs of cattle. But because it's a sunny, hot day, they've likely found a secluded, shady spot to wait out the heat. With 8,000 acres and a relatively small herd at 200 head, these 20-somethings have been building up their business since 2013, when they purchased the property. And it's an interesting piece of land, bordered on one side by Lake Manitoba, complete with a colony of dam-building beavers, and the remnants of the original owner's homestead.
This is the old ranch house here. It's the original ranch site, so built right on the lake so they can go and get water right out of the lake. I don't know exactly how old this house is, but it has to be 100 years, I would think, just because I know some of the older people who lived in it.
And as Laura discovers, the house is not completely abandoned. A family of barn swallows has moved in. The dew has evaporated off the fields, and Brian can get back to work harvesting the hay. On her way home, Laura finds a few cattle have come out of hiding to spend some time grazing in the sun. Among them is an elderly cow with horns, one of the originals from Brian's herd. She no longer calves, but she's special, and she'll live out her days on the ranch that Laura and Brian built. The seasons can change quickly in the Interlake, this year more so than most. It's only early fall, but winter temperatures have arrived ahead of time, and Carrie and Calvin are working as hard as ever.
We're at the Rakedahl family farm today. We're gonna be preg checking the heifers.
Hey, let's go.
Heifers are young female cows that have not yet born a calf. On the Rakedahl farm, it's a family affair, and everyone has a specific job to do. Calvin's sister Bubby wrangles the cows into the chute. His nephew Brad sprays them for worms and lice. Dr. Carey does the preg check. Calvin tags them, and his mother Gladys, using the numbers each cow has been assigned, keeps track of the herd.
She keeps track to make sure that all the heifers came home from pasture, and in the future, if there's a mess up and we don't know which cow it is, they get to blame her. They like to do that.
Yep, it's all her fault.
The preg checking team has 125 heifers to get through. But today, the weather is not their friend.
It's October and it's supposed to be fall, but it's decided to be winter early this year, so we're all freezing to death and not enjoying the weather too much. The head gate's where we trap them basically so they can't move, and that's where I preg check them to see whether they are bred or whether they're open. Open means that they're not in calf. I use an ultrasound. It's kind of a newer piece of equipment, then it really helps because originally we had to palpate by hand, so that meant sticking your arm shoulder deep in hundreds of cows a year, thousands of cows a year. So with this one we can see the calf. It's about 70 days, 70, 80 days, probably more like 80 days. And so you can see the calf right there. You can see the heart beating.
Are we good?
5 heifers down and 120 to go. It'll be mid-afternoon before they're done with this group. There will be a few more open heifers than usual, and Calvin puts that down to the unusual stresses the herd faced this year. The extreme heat, the wildfires, and the sparse precipitation all contributed to throwing the female cows off their normal cycle, resulting in fewer pregnancies.
We'll definitely be culling those open cows, and it's a really good opportunity to clean up your herd. And if you have any cows with issues, it's a good chance to cull them and save up some feed for the other cattle.
Such is the life of a prairie rancher. One eye on the welfare of the herd, and the other firmly on the bottom line. And without everyone pitching in, a century of stewarding this piece of land could be lost.
My grandfather was here, my dad took over from him. I'm here now. Brad's now come on board, and maybe someday the opportunity to be here for Brad's kids too.
Traditions are passed from fathers to daughters as well.
I'm actually very proud of what Carrie's done as far as being raised in the city and being to adapt to country life as well as she has.
I think for us, there's definitely challenges to living in a rural area, but living in the city and having to deal with traffic would be way more challenging than trying to run away from a bull that's chasing you.
I think she sets the example that young females can do whatever they want to do in life. Women have definitely taken over the veterinary profession.
But Carrie doesn't just look after other people's pets. This past year, a couple of her own had health issues. And it's only through patience and ongoing therapy that things have improved.
Pep's been doing really good lately. It seems that the stenosis, so the narrowing in her spine has, well, it's not gone away, but I don't think it's getting worse. She's been coming on our runs with us. She's going 6 kilometers without any issues. She's able to jump up into the truck again, do stairs again, and those are things that she wasn't doing last year. So really happy with how she's doing. There's miracles in medicine every day, and I think with her, the body just finds ways to heal itself and keep going, keep staying active. So I think her body has found a way to get around the issues and so that she can be a happy, active Australian Shepherd. I was finally able to get into the show pen with Elvis, which was a huge, huge deal for me. That's why I originally bought him, was so that I could, ride and show him.
With Elvis's injuries, that wasn't possible for 2 years. He got a clean bill of health from Dr. Bell this May, and then we've worked really hard since then to get his muscle built up. To finally get him in the show pen was like huge. It was awesome. Super excited.
And isn't that what it's really all about? At the end of the day, if you can celebrate the health and happiness of those you love, what more could you ask for?